dancers. My lords, my ladies, lend me thy ear. We proclaim on June 10th, 2023, Gananoque's global water dance here in the Gananoque Sculpture Park. Many countries around the world are participating at this very time. The biannual, multinational, community-oriented event is to bring awareness to water issues around the world. Celebrating water through movement. We connect and support a global community of choreographers and dancers to inspire action and international collaboration for water issues through the universal language of dance. With over 130 countries participating all at the same time. There will be 4 dances. One of them will be an international dance and one that highlights the community of Gananoque. The dancing queen of Gananoque, Debbie Donaldson, has choreographed the local dance for our great town. The sculpture park is part of the wonderful basin where the Gananoque River flows, or sometimes is very still, where duckweed or green slime grows. That highlights the algae blooms that is the issue. Not only here, but in many areas of the world in the summer heat. The dance takes place in front of the water to show our gratitude to the resources we have in Canada that we may take for granted. Since we have some of the largest reserves in the world, but we as Canadians and global citizens pride in having and preserving. As Town Crier of Gananoque and Councillor of the Township of Legion Thousand Islands, it gives me great pleasure for all to enjoy this water dance. Help us preserve our natural resources for the future. Let's dance. Here ends the proclamation. Long live the dancers. Long live the king.
Welcome everyone to Global Water Dance 2023. I'm Debbie Donaldson, the choreographer and the leader of this group for Gananoque. With over 200 sites in 130 countries, we will all share today and show the water issues that pertain to each of our areas. We acknowledge that we are situated on the traditional Haudenosaunee, Onondaga, and Mohawk territories. With gratitude and respect, we acknowledge the significant contributions Indigenous peoples have made to keep the land around us pure and full of love. The first peoples of Turtle Island, who used the St. Lawrence and Gananoque rivers as a vital transport route for trapping, hunting, gathering, trade, and relocation. We thank you today for joining us. Global Water Dance 2023. All is well with the world. The water is pure and clean. The waves gently touch the shore. The fish are calm and serene. But slowly dirt slips from the banks. It slides and glides on its way. To pollute the beautiful clean water, it kills a little each day. And then the evil phosphorus seeps into the water once clean. Its scum slowly devours the beauty as it slips beneath the water unseen. The sun, so bright and beautiful, beats down so innocently, and it too feeds the pollution and then the algae we see. The blue and green of the algae grows happily on its way, silently overtaking the water in its own quiet way. But algae is a bit like Robin Hood. It does something bad, then does something good. It gives us the gift of oxygen. It does cause pollution too. It creates a kind of movement, just like dancers do. The dancers take a breath, they raise their arms into the air, letting their lungs be filled with the oxygen everywhere. Then bend toward the earth, push the algae away, move their body freely and give hope for the day. But sometimes hope needs a little gift, something to give nature a bit of a lift. A beautiful water fountain was placed with loving care to help slow down pollution slowing growing in the water there. It moves gracefully, it begins to churn with love, it shoots upwards into the sky, then drops back down from above. The culmination is the beautiful global water dance, a balance here on earth, for all, a second chance. By Gretchen Huntley.
Very cool. Okay. Once again, hello. And thank you for joining us today for this very important event, Global Water Dance 2023. My name is Clarice Gervais. I am Métis with ancestral ties to the Red River settlement. My First Nation ancestors were the Saulteaux. As an Indigenous people, we consider ourselves stewards of the land and water. Métis governments and working groups are working hard to restore and preserve waterways for the good of all the peoples of this land. The Métis people have always had a deep connection with the land born of our ancestors, the European fur traders, and the Indigenous communities with which they formed mutually beneficial relationships. These voyagers relied on the waterways for transportation and resources. My imagination runs free sometimes, like a river. What a wonder it must have been for early explorers to this unmapped land. Everywhere they turned, there was another lake, another river. The water must have seemed endless, limitless. And since the water was so abundant, it must have seemed indestructible. Even now, when we know better, when we have seen the effect of riverbank erosion caused by developers removing the plants from the banks whose role it was to hold the soil in place with their roots. My friends who volunteer with a local land trust have observed that some farmers have stopped leaving a buffer zone between their fields and the creeks and rivers that border or run through their lands in order to get the most acreage planted. Their fields run right up to the banks, allowing fertilizer and other farming chemicals to run off into the waterways. I don't get it. Wouldn't soil erosion eventually claim the land they're trying to use? I'm no environmental scientist, but even I know that's a harmful practice. Back in the day of my ancestors, before colonization created overpopulation, folks would make water in the river. Why not? Urine is sterile, and the water would quickly dilute it. But they would always make water downstream from the village to protect their drinking and cleaning water, so their waste would flow away from their home. However, the volume of their waste was a drop in the ocean compared to the waste that has been and continues to flow into the waters as a result of farming and industrial practices and a lot of other things. And much of that waste does not dissipate. Even if it changes, the sheer volume of it adversely affects the balance of the waterway. We see it here every summer on the Gananoque River. Today we dance for clean water, for safe water, to make us all aware of the dangers of acting as if we live upriver. And I can speak again about the shameful fact that the first peoples of this land who live on reserve often have no access to safe water. But I think this idea covers that topic. We all live downriver from someone, meaning that poor environmental practices affect the majority of the globe. Eventually, even the people who live the farthest upriver are affected. Thank you for hearing my words.
you all for coming here today and sharing with us as we dance to bring awareness to our water issues, in particular the algae in our rivers. We can discourage algae growth by reducing the use of fertilizers and maintaining sustainable water flows to the St. Lawrence Seaway. Climate change, the weather, heat, and rain cycles are affecting the St. Lawrence and Gananoque rivers, its waters, the fishes, birds, wildlife, and humans. The cycle of water and life is changing globally. We need to be conscientious of our environment and natural resources. This last dance is a participatory dance. You can do it while you're standing where you are, or if you prefer, we invite you to join us in the circle.